Rich Allo, hello.
Hello.
How are you doing? You good?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Rich is here this morning. You might have heard us playing his songs in the past on the Jersey Jukebox or on BBC Music Introducing in Jersey, or maybe when we do the guide and we tell people about events happening around the island, we might have mentioned that you were playing a gig in a certain place in the past. You have been playing music for how long?
So I started writing songs about 5-6 years ago,
Right.
but I haven't actually. I've been performing for probably about 3 years. So, but altogether, it's. I mean, I've been singing all my life really, but it wasn't until about 5 years ago I got serious with it and thought, right, okay, I've got to take the next step.
And what was it that made you do that, do you think?
I think it was. I went through a period of writing a lot of poems. There was kind of a lot of emotional distress that happened a few years ago. Anxiety and depression have been things which have become quite significant in my life since my teenage years, and I think writing these poems sort of helped me discover that there was actually music inside me waiting to come out. So I think it was those experiences that encouraged it.
Yeah, and did it help you with those experiences and those feelings that you were having, writing poems, writing songs?
100%, yeah. Just getting everything down on a page, trying to make some sense of order. In my head, it all just seemed like a complete jumble, and everything was a mess. But actually getting it out and being able to spread that with people, and finding out that people have actually had similar problems, and finding out that they enjoyed the music based on that kind of shared knowledge was wonderful. It was really lovely.
Tell me a bit more about the musical side of it. What does it? And this is a question musicians must absolutely hate. What does it sound like? But what kind of other musicians might you compare the stuff you do to, or what genre could it be put into?
Well, I grew up listening to a lot of rock and pop music, particularly Queen, David Bowie, U2, 30 Seconds to Mars. A lot of music that's very kind of anthemic and larger than life. All of those bands and artists have a very kind of epic feel to their music. And that was something that I was trying to capture. I just wanted to have something that would create a big impact musically, so larger than life choruses, lots of big instrumentation, kind of just going way over the top.
Yeah. Lots of production.
Yes, a lot of production.
Right.
Absolutely.
We're going to hear some soon. We're going to play a song, Halls of Paradise, which I think is one of the singles from the new album.
That's right, yeah.
This is your second album.
Yes.
Yeah. When did the first one come out?
So the first one came out about a year ago. It was April last year. So over the course of the year, I've been playing shows to promote that one. But because I enjoyed the process so much, and because there were a lot of leftover songs that didn't make that album, it sort of got to summer last year. I started working on the next one, Strangest Sin, that's just come out. And yeah, it was a case of, I've got these songs, I just want to put them out.
Yeah. Lots of people I talk to who are making music in the island put together maybe a couple of singles, and they put out EPs. What was it that made you strive for albums? Because I mean, it's a big long form, isn't it? You've got to get a lot of songs together that you're really happy with, and you've got to get it so it flows, and you're really happy with that as well.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think I was just very ambitious, and I went through phases of thinking, this is impossible. What am I doing? It's crazy. And I would tell people I'm going to make an album, and they would, look at me and sort of think, okay, you've had a long night, Rich, or something like that. But I think it was because the artists that I were listening to had produced full-length albums themselves, and I just wanted to challenge myself, really. And fortunately, I had that many songs that I could put out that all sort of fit into the same theme, so I thought I'd put them all out together.
You're studying at the moment.
Yes.
What are you studying? Where are you studying?
So I'm studying drama and creative writing at Kingston University in London, and that's great because that's been able to help me hone my performance skills as well as my writing skills, and I've learned so much about the songwriting process while being at uni, so I think that's definitely kind of enhanced what I want to do.
What's it like in Kingston?
It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The culture actually is so wonderful because you walk down the main high street and there's so many buskers of all walks of life, musicians, magicians, dancers, and that encouraged me to perform as well. I found out that you didn't have to get a license, there were no entry requirements, so I just got on the street and started performing.
So you've been busking over there?
Yeah, I've been busking in London, which has been great fun. Completely different atmosphere over here. You certainly feel like you're sort of plunged into the wider world.
Right. Have you busked in Jersey in the past as well? Or?
I haven't busked in Jersey. I've only just done
doing it over there. But
yeah.
Not here. Right, okay.
Yeah, but it's something I'd like to explore more of when I'm over here.
Yeah. What kind of reaction have you got when you've been doing that? And here's another question as well. When you're busking, do you put a few coins in the hat to start with?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You got to coax them over, make them think you're better than you are. No. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's quite a lot of competition. The buskers are in quite close proximity of each other in Kingston, so it's just a case of being loud enough, but at the same time not being too loud that you don't disturb the other people. But I just sort of started off singing songs that people would know, and then when you've kind of lured them in, that's when I go off the beating track a bit and kind of while they're still interested, sing another song that they might not know, and then just weigh up the set list a bit.
You were saying to me before when Madonna was playing that you are doing your dissertation on street performers.
Yes, yeah.
What is it about street performing that you find fascinating then?
I think it's an overlooked art form. I don't think people appreciate how much work goes into it, and street performers have always had a little bit of a kick, I think, based on the itinerant image that's always been attached to them in the past.
And what's that image? What's that?
So essentially, busking was originally brought to Europe by the Romani people, and they would sort of be travelling vendors and tinkers and working on their way. They would play music as a form of entertainment, but because they were sort of seen as the lowest form of society, there's kind of been this inferior image which has always been attached, and sadly that's still around today. There's been a lot more appreciation of buskers, but there's particularly a lot of limitations when it comes to government laws, and I think that's something that should be changed, definitely.
Okay. How do you think buskers can overcome that kind of attitude, and there can be a shift in people's attitude towards them?
This is the thing, I think a lot of the time it's buskers should get together and essentially try and influence opinions. If they can influence the public's opinion by playing great music, then hopefully that can have more of a difference higher up.
Right.
I think there's a long way to go, but if people get together, then there could be a change.
We've gone off on a massive tangent. I've definitely really enjoyed talking about it though, Rich. Strangest Sin is the title of the album, right,
yes.
Rich? And where does that title come from?
So that title comes from one of the lyrics in another track, which is called Why Do I Feel This Way With You? And it's kind of an ironic title, I guess, because this album is about moving on from all of my insecurities in the past, and anyone with anxiety, depression, will tell you that sometimes you have that voice in your head that doesn't want you to move on. So almost looking at it from the point of view of the insecurities, the strangest sin is me kind of moving on from those problems.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too deep, but
for a Monday morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Where did you record it?
So it was all recorded at my home studio in Jersey. Unlike the first one, there were a couple of bits recorded in London, but it was a lot nicer recording all of this in one place, because previously there were so many demos and mixes of stuff all over the place. I didn't know where was what was where.
Yeah. And what's it like when you say your home studio in Jersey? Paint me a picture. What does it look like, that room?
Absolute chaos. No, you walk in and I got a mixing desk there, and then there's a drum kit in the corner and your basic guitars, but it's tidy at the minute.
And so you record the guitar, the drum, the vocals,
piano, yeah.
The piano. You record everything.
Yes.
And then you put it all together.
Yes, yeah. Everything is multi-track, so all instruments are recorded separately,
right.
And then they're all put together in the final mix. Yeah.
Is that a satisfying feeling when you hear it all come together like that?
Yes, yeah, definitely. At the start, you've got an image in your head of what you want. Sometimes it changes, which is quite interesting. But a song like Halls of Paradise, from the start, I knew what sound I wanted it to have, and thankfully it came together at the end.
Yeah. If people want to see you performing live, I don't know if you've got anything coming up in Jersey, but you've done quite well. You had a launch for this album at Legends in St Helier on the weekend, and you've played at the Weekender Festival in the past as well, haven't you?
Yes, yeah, that was a great experience. Again, it was totally different crowd, but it was really nice to kind of get out there and play some new songs.
Yeah. You got to let us know if you've got anything else coming up.
Yes, I will do. Yeah, I'm currently putting a list of dates together, and they'll be available from my website very, very soon.
Nice. Okay, and we'll sneak in some of your tunes every now and again as well.
Thank you,
Rich. Thanks for coming in this morning. Appreciate it.
No, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.